Welcome to Lifestyle by SK, where wine, cigars, relationships create that tapestry of extraordinary experience. So, in today's episode, I want to give you some three different questions that you can ask as you going on your dating journey right now. Now, these three questions can be in any order; they don't have to be exact. Of course, it's going to be sub questions that you can ask beneath those in order to help you get your point across. But I just want to kind of just put some out there so that some of you can get the basic understanding of what you need to ask before you start getting serious with someone. So, one of the first questions that you should definitely ask is, where are we going? Where are you going? And when you're looking at that question, it shouldn't be such much more of a material thing. For example, ladies, you definitely don't need to be asking a man what kind of car does he drive or how much money that he makes, because those are red flags. And it makes it seem like that you want somebody to just retire you. So let me get this straight. You grow up, you go to college, you go to school, get your degrees or whatever the case may be. You have your own career and job, but you want a man to retire you. That's not how life works. But these questions is seriously, where are you going? And so when you ask that questions, it's just like you ask somebody, what are your goals? When you ask them a simple question like that, then it begins to give them the ability to think, to provide you some much more insightful information to who they are and what their outcome wants to be later on down the line. Because you'll be able to pick up on red flags, whether or not you want to continue to date that person or not. Because these can go both ways, but we all know how we see things online and how that's going. Another thing that you can definitely ask is, what are you building? Fellas, you can definitely ask the ladies this. And a lot of times I know a lot of you, like ladies, may be going through school, going through college, getting your degrees and stuff like that, and the man may be in his career, but it's still a viable question to ask, because everybody should be building something and bringing something to the table, because nobody should be coming to the table empty-handed. Ladies, not you at all. You shouldn't come to the table empty-handed. Fellas, you already know the expectations. If you coming to the table empty-handed, not going to happen. Neither one of you should. Both of you should be bringing something to the table, hands down, and there's no other questions about it, no other negotiations about it. You need to also understand that what directions that somebody's life is moving in, because the point is, you don't need somebody to be perfect in this aspect. You just need them to have a sense of direction. And so as you're getting that question out of the way, then you begin to fall into your number two question. And your second question is, what do you want out of a relationship? And sometimes you ask that, you have to sit back and really listen to the person. And I mean, really listen, not just listening to give a smart response or a negative response back, but actually a constructive response back, because that person is expecting you to be an adult and answer the question properly. If you don't have anything to bring in that regard, just specifically go ahead and state that. So if that person decides they still want to date you, they can. If not, they can move on to the next person. Because many people are out here dating without that clarity. But you can most definitely ask, hey, are you looking for marriage? Are we just dating just to kick it? We need to ask these type of questions. And this is underlying with the question number two that we have here. But these are legit questions that we have to bring to the table here, because we have to understand, are you looking for a long-term relationship, or are we just casually dating? Because depending on which one of those areas that you're going in, you will know whether that person is wasting your time or not. So whether you should pick up, leave, and move on and go on to the next thing, or you should keep it where you are and you continue to make something out of that. Because we have to get to the root of what is going on in the friendship that could lead into the relationship with the person that you are actually with. And it's not an easy feat. And that's why I always talk about the basic dating aspects of taking somebody to a park, or taking somebody to a coffee shop or a taco shop, whatever the case may be. Just a non-expensive date where the two of you don't even have to spend that much money, if any at all, in order to get to know each other. Because it is not about pulling up in the nicest car, flashing the latest jewelry, and ladies, you all getting decked all out in your outfits and hair and nails and all that other stuff. It's unnecessary. So you both need to see that person in a non-expensive casual date in your natural state. That means Fellas, you can be dressed down. Ladies, you need to be dressed down, because here's the reality. When you all get together, 100% of the time, none of you are going to wake up with my makeup on. And ladies, especially not you. You're able to see each other in a natural state in your dating aspect, at the coffee shop or at the park or bowling or whatever the case may be, in a natural, relaxed state, and you get to see the inside of each other. This is what we have to get back to, is the basic dating aspect of this. Now, if your destinations are different, you're going to know for sure, because if they are different, somebody's going to get hurt. It's either going to be that man or that woman. Somebody is not going to make the cut. And once you get through that aspect, then you begin to fall into the third question that I want you to ask them is, how do you handle responsibility? Because remember, accountability and responsibility is like kryptonite. It will cripple a person at his knees, at her knees, because people run away from responsibility. They run away from accountability. And we see it online, video after video. When the fellas holding the ladies accountable, they run away from accountability. But the two of you, without social media, without you pulling out your phone, recording each other and trying to embarrass each other, you definitely need to get and start paying attention to the work ethic. Yes, fellas, you need to understand, is that lady working? Does she have a job? Do you have a job? What is your work ethic like? How are you like with the people that you will work with? Do you treat people with kindness, respect? Do you act professional at the job? Because that goes a long way, because people can live two completely different lifestyles. Because people miss that a lot. And this is underneath our third question here. But these are just the sub questions that you can ask as you get into the conversation, because you'll start to see and feel what's going on. And you will understand it once you're talking with that person. But knowing how they are at work, and then learning how they are with family obligations, because what is the relationship with their family? How do they treat their family? If you are around and you see that, what do you observe? Is that an indication of how it would be if you were to be married to that person and get into the family? Because this is like a middle ground conversational topic, because the questions can go both ways to either side of the aisle. It can go towards the men, from the lady asking the men asking the ladies. It can go both ways. But we got to get back to talking with each other instead of just dating. We got to actually have real conversations. And that is what could be one of many factors that can be impacting relationships today. And it doesn't take an expert to figure this out. You can just look around and look at the divorce rate of marriages that's going on right now. Look at the videos that you even see online, real time, of people posting vlogs of their whole entire relationships and how they treat people. It's definitely a big thing. And also with keeping commitments. Are you committed to just one person? Ladies, fellas, you're dating that person. Are you dating exclusively? If you all are dating different people while you're dating that person, if that's how you all like to play, make sure each other know, make sure the game is fair. But you can't be getting wined and dined by one person and then date the other person for everything else. There's a lot of things that we shouldn't be doing in relationships that people do. But hopefully that this will be able to help at least give you a leeway in some of the questions that you should ask as you're talking with people. Because remember, the conversations, if you listen long enough, you will hear everything that you need to hear, and you'll know whether to dip out or you'll know whether to stay. But it's your responsibility to ask and press these questions, because it's very important. Because without these questions, it can cost you a lot to get out of relationships, especially if you get married to that person and learn 6 months to a year, a couple of years down the line that they wasn't who you really thought they were. You really have to get serious and start asking these, because attraction can get you your attention, but character, direction, and responsibility They help determine whether someone is worth building a future with or not. And you ladies know this from day one, whether you want to say yes when that man proposed to you. Fellas, you know by the way that lady dressed, if you want to take her home to see your parents, not just your mom, but your mother and your father, or you have that lady around your family, how is she on your arm when she's around your family? Ladies, how does this young man, this gentleman that you're talking to, how do they fit around into your family? How do they treat your family? How do y'all treat each other's family members when y'all are around? This goes both sides. Both sides have to be compatible. But it's truly about how you all are compatible. And I understand you're going to have family that may not agree with what you all are doing. Sometimes people are jealous. Sometimes people want to put bad vibes on you. But you all know, because what goes on in your house when you're married is totally only to you all and you all's business in that regard. But please believe that also how you treat the family going into the situation is how they're going to treat you or going out. So before you give someone your heart, most definitely ask these questions. Definitely post in the comments below. Like, listen, and subscribe. Lifestyle by SK, where wine, cigars, relationships create that tape shift extraordinary experience. As always, you all have a good one.